Today's episode is brought to you by Henshaw Trailer Sales of Richland, Iowa, the Packwood Locker of Packwood, Iowa, Smithburg Auto of Fairfield, Iowa, and the Cedar Rapids Titans. We're talking a little Cedar Rapids Titans as they have a big game with the Ironmen of West of Michigan. There, we've got the owner of the team, Mario Flores. Welcome to the program, Coach.
How you doing?
I'm really excited to talk to you. What I know about you is that you're a very successful owner and you're kind of a big guy in the community. It seems like you do a lot, maybe beyond the football in your area. And we're going to talk about this really exciting game that we've got Saturday night. And you can see that I'll share the stream. You can catch this on the Round Guy Radio Facebook page. But Mario, tell me a little bit about where you grew up and something about maybe your background as a football fan or player.
Holy Toledo, that I don't know if we have enough time for all that, but I was born in Hart, Michigan. I lived there till I was 5. Then I moved to Muskegon, Michigan, and I've been here, ever since. So that's 52 years I've been in Muskegon. Went to school, played high school football at Mona Shores High School. I wasn't very good at school because I chose not to be, I guess, and so my grades weren't really good enough to go play college football, except junior college at Grand Rapids Junior College, home of the Raiders. And I was a short stint. I blew my knee out. I was pretty good at making pizzas. Been doing pizzas since I was 14, and I was lucky enough to get my own pizzeria when I was 19 years old, with the help of a guy named Frank Dahl, whose family business owns Dino's up in Traverse City. So I've always had a pizzeria since I was 19. I've been fortunate to be around good people that have always helped me. I believe in listening to your elders and mentors as much as you can. And that got me, I still have a pizzeria, and that got me into finding my way in the mortgage business. In 2003, I ended up going to the mortgage business and been here for, since then till now. And, little old Muskegon, Michigan, I'm with Van Dyke Mortgage. And, we're all over the country, Van Dyke is. And, little old Muskegon, Michigan is number one in units, not in volume, but units. And I take that very personal. I take pride in being number one. And I love doing mortgages. I love helping people. I think everybody deserves a chance to get home ownership. I really truly believe that. When I got in the business, I was single, raising 3 kids, single dad. I had full custody of my 3 sons, and I had a 450 credit score. Not a lot of banks were lending, Dave, on that kind of credit score. So I figured out a way to repair my credit, fix credit, and that's how I got into being in this longevity of helping as many people as I can.
Well, and your credit to your community, whether your credit score is good or not, I can't tell you. I was in the Army, and then when I got out, I worked in a foundry and it closed, and I worked at Bluebird making buses and it closed, and it was just kind of a series of things like that. I wound up doing roofing, and then when I got 44, I was too old for roofing, and I started driving a truck, and that's when I had enough income that I could borrow some money and get a house. And I got a house and paid off in 11 years. And I think that was the best move I ever made. I didn't go on vacation, and we didn't do anything extra. If there was extra, we just put extra money on the mortgage and knocked it out. And it's been, I don't know if I have the world's greatest house, but it's the greatest house for me. And it's just right for me, and not having a mortgage has really made life a lot better for me. But beyond the mortgages and stuff, sounds like to me you were a guy that loved football, loved playing football, did what you could to play football, but then, couldn't continue with that, but you found a way to keep your football dreams alive. When did you start this excellent football team that you have and won so many championships? When did the first opportunity, how did that come together that you became the owner of this team?
So the reason why I brought up Van Dyke Mortgage is because Van Dyke Mortgage was a proud sponsor of then the Muskegon Thunder. And my old football coach was the owner of that team. I just went in there as a sponsor. I got a suite. Being in the mortgage business, it's all referrals and network. And when I went to the game, I had that feeling again when I first stepped on the field of Friday night lights, and in high school. And when the lights were done, they did the national anthem. I guess, holy shit, this is something I want to be a part of. And I've never been to an arena football game. I didn't even know what that really was. So as a sponsor, I could feel the energy in the place. It was more, it was weird. It was more of a networking event and more like just a big party that everybody was going to. Yeah, there's a lot of great football, and it was a fast action pace and all that, hard hitting. But for me, it was a way to potentially bring clients, realtors, appraisers, title company people to an event that a lot of people haven't been to. So as a sponsor, I sponsored and I brought people there and they had a good time. And that's how I got into arena football. And unfortunately, they only lasted a couple of years here at that time Mercy Health Arena, or at that time Seawalk Arena, and then they moved to Grand Rapids, and then there was a couple of deaths in that family, and they played at the Deltaplex, and that didn't last much longer. So I think they were in operations for 3 to 4 years, maybe. Well, then what happened was here comes the West Michigan Ironmen. TJ Williams was the owner of it and founder of it. Nate Smith, actually, the general manager there, and he's my partner and general manager now. He was there from inception, and they were 1 year. They played in the CIF. Again, I went as a sponsor. Absolutely loved it. I think there was better production with the West Michigan Ironmen. That was all because of Nate Smith. And again, the feeling was, oh man, this is awesome. I went as a sponsor. The next year, they didn't call me back to be a sponsor. I thought, what the hell? Maybe I wasn't good enough to be. But they started having some problems financially of their own. And, I get a call saying, hey, we're not going to be in Muskegon anymore. Do you want to buy the team? So then at that time, I talked to a good buddy, Tim Taylor. Him and I purchased a team. We got them out of debt. One of the issues was sponsorships were paid, but a lot of things weren't happening on the sponsors and of fulfilling what a sponsor expects to get at a game. That's why they didn't call me back. It's not that they didn't want me or want my money. It's somebody dropped the ball and didn't call me. And so that's how I got the team. A couple years later, I bought out Tim. He just couldn't do, more. His plate was full, and I wanted to keep the team here. I still believed in the networking. I still believed in it's good for Muskegon, at least, in my opinion. And Nate kept on as a general manager. He coached still a couple of years. But man, this has been a ride. I can tell you in arena football of what we've experienced with different leagues, different teams folding, different leagues folding, different, just weird and nuts. And at that time, me and Nate thought, well, we'll just create our own league. We were the GALAF. And that was an experience. We only lasted 1 year because, part of the problem is you got to have a budget. You have to have a budget when you're playing in the arena football. And see, what I love about Cedar Rapids, I believe they have a budget that is the same as ours. So when I said that we are like looking in the mirror, I think our organizations are very, very similar, way different than what I think Cedar Rapids was last year. And no fault to that owner at all. I think he tried getting two teams, and he tried getting, he had a lot on his plate. And so I think with the new ownership of Cedar Rapids is huge for that area. When I walked in that arena, there was a bar across the street. It was packed. And a lot of people didn't know that there was even a game that night. So I told my staff, this is a badass atmosphere, badass place. This could work, So I was excited about it, but then I was disappointed when, how things unfolded of, the other, the previous owner, kind of went about doing things, and it was the same old feel again of sponsors just didn't feel like they got their money's worth. We were in a league that was, coming and going, who's showing up to the game, who wasn't. And that's something I wanted to do as a West Michigan Ironman owner, is bring some value to the league. And I think we're changing a lot of heads right now. I really believe that.
Well,
and so that's how I became owner, because I was a sponsor, just like Mike, is the owner now. He was there as a sponsor, and I'm going to be I'll be a good ally for him if he chooses, because we've been this up and down, and he'll have some bumps and valleys too. And he brought in Rick, who's great for the organization. You're great for the organization, and just watching that game, I was very excited for the future.
Yeah, well, we finally figured out how to broadcast. That was something I didn't even know. When I first went in there, they told me that we would have the video from the stadium, and we just have to provide the audio. But that wasn't what happened, and we had to upgrade our equipment, and then through the baseball, football, and basketball season, we kind of figured out how to broadcast, and I'll try to get a little better angle than I did the first time. But there's a huge interest here. One thing about Michigan and Iowa that are very much the same was we both like to win. We like winners. We're very proud. We're very proud of the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Cedar Rapids Colonels, they win a lot of titles in the minor league baseball. It's just we like winners, and I don't think we had winners for a couple years up there, but this year it seems like a whole different. The new owner is just absolutely terrific, and so much more organized, but they're getting a lot of great players. I know the running backs, Georgia Tech guy, but they've got guys from smaller schools that can really play, and they play well together. It seemed like it would take more time than what they've had to develop so much cohesion, but they play together very well. But your team is always winning. I don't know, when's the last time you lost a game?
We lost 2 years ago in the championship game to the Adventures. Ron King was the owner. So he's probably not gonna like this if he hears it, but it's just true. So great team, very competitive, but that team was, made up of a lot of different players maybe that never played on that team. And they kicked our ass. So I'm not taking anything away from them. We lost that game, the championship game. We lost our edge. We have a great arena in Trinity Health Arena, and the manager, Jake LeMay, he is the manager there. And we're handcuffed with hockey there. So that's why we played early in January this year, and it stinks. It stinks playing in January, and playing Friday nights didn't really help. But I'm saying all this because that year we took a month and a half off before we played that championship game, and I'm not taking anything away from the Avengers because they won and they beat us. But when you take off a month and a half, you're a little rusty, and we were on the road because we couldn't get any home games in May, and our only home game in May was the championship. But they beat us then. Then before that was 2 years before that against North Carolina at Charlotte, North Carolina, at their place. We've almost lost a few times, but we've come back and won the last 30 seconds of a game one time against Charlotte. We almost lost to the Detroit Ravens last year. Great battle. I mean, they should have won the game. We won the last minute. So since I've owned the team for 11 years now, I think we've lost 3 times, maybe two.
Well, 3 times in 11 years is pretty dang good. Well, what is what's your, I don't know what your secret is, but what's your philosophy about, hiring a coach and selecting players? And how do is it just the reputation of your team that draws the good players to you, or you have to go out and find them? Combination of both of that?
So, having a it starts, I believe, with a good GM and then a great coach. I would say that everybody brings something to the table of as far as recruiting players, finding that niche of where to get them. But yes, of course, winning takes care of a lot of things and interest from other players that want to come play for us. It's funny because when we went to Cedar last year, when we played them there and we played Corp, there's a lot of guys I wanted to sign right after the game because I thought you had some great players, and some of them could definitely play for the West Michigan Ironmen. But I just think it's because we've been a long time, and I think we held the standard. I know that's going to offend some people because they're going to say, yeah, but look at who you play. Well, yeah, you still got to play the game, though, and you still got to have money to be successful and have longevity in this league, of any league you're playing for. We don't go and play in soccer arenas for a reason, because I think if you're going to be in this level of what us as Cedar Rapids are, I'm not disrespecting the soccer arenas, but it's just a different feel. It's a different vibe, and it's a different budget. Like if that budget's more like 30,000-40,000, and when you come to a league like this or a team like we are, the standard is very different. And if you don't meet that standard, it's next, and it doesn't matter who or what player you are. I'll give you a great example. Bo Shanks, I love Bo Shanks. He's probably one of the hardest hitters that I've ever seen. And him and the coach had a misunderstanding at practice, and he was dismissed from the team last year. And I thought he would really come back out this year, and he didn't. And, but he's played against us on every team so far since last year and this year. He has played against us. I love Bo Shanks. We hugged it out at the last game when we played this last game on the 13th. He was on what the hell the team that we played. But anyway, he is a special person, but he too and us are built to a standard where you got to follow the program or you just won't be here. And I think that's what sets us apart, no matter if we're in a struggling league, a bad league, or a great league. I think people have to be held to a standard. And I believe we do that very well.
The people say, you don't play anybody, reminds me of something George Foreman says. Someone says, well, all you do is knock out bums. And he says, they're only bums after I knock them out. Before I knock them out, that's a 250-pound man trying to kill me, But I think that the league is a little more stable maybe than it was last year. I'm hoping it is anyway. You've been stable and consistent. What is the secret to the success of the Ironman team?
I would tell you this. So the Muskies, that's where we played last. And I'll give you another example with the standard. Like I'm sure everybody has heard, the Muskies are no longer in our league or they're suspended right now. That wouldn't have happened last year. So last year it would have been, okay, everybody's going to be on crisis mode to try to save the team so we can save the reputation of the league or the city or the community. And the league this year or last year would have faked it till you made it just so to have a product on the field. We're not doing that anymore. We're ripping Band-Aids off. And this year, the league is saying, hey, we're going to have standards. You got to meet the standards. And if you don't, you're on suspension or you're kicked out of the league. I think a lot of people have been turning their heads. I really thought we were going to get negative publicity about it, but a lot of heads are turning of, okay, that's different. Nobody's really doing that. And I don't give a damn what league you're in. The highest league, the NIA, the IFL or whatever. I mean, I'm not too good at naming them, but it doesn't matter what level you are. These people, sometimes if you can't get a team, what they'll do is they'll go to other cities and just recruit guys just to make that game happen. And I think that's wrong. I think that in one way, it waters down the product. In another way, that's when you don't get consistency, and that's when you don't get people with a budget that should be at what we're playing and being able to sustain. If you pick up with guys like that and you're picking up different guys from here and there, and then let's say you lose and you lose big, well, then they don't want to play the next game because there's nothing to play for. I think a lot of that crap has got to go away, and no matter what league you're playing in, I think the owner's got to be accountable for taking care of their players, and I think if you talk to every single person, even Clay Oliver that said that he was at our organization and we paid him gas money, I mean, that really pisses me off, and I like Clay a lot. But when he said that comment and then went and played for Cloryville, I was upset because we took care of Clay. So when he's on the social chat, whatever, saying that we paid him gas money is 100% incorrect. I know we take care of our guys, and you got to take care of your guys in your organization to have an organization. And we do very good consistently, no matter what the circumstances is in our league and our organization.
Well, you got a chance to see Cedar Rapids in their first game, opening game. The quality of the opponent was a semi-pro opponent, so nothing like what they're going to be playing when they play you guys. But I talked to anybody didn't see some good things out there on the field. I thought the defense might even been a little ahead of the offense. In fact, I think the only competition was who's going to score more, the defense or the offense in the game. But when you're looking at the team and you're looking at the running backs and the linebackers and the defensive line and the blocking and all of that, what did you see out of the Cedar Rapids Titans in that opening?
Well, I tell you what, it is Thursday now, and I will say this: I've been kind of like, what do I do? I mean, I know there's been a lot of social medias with AI posts and stuff going back and forth, which is great. I think the hype for the game is very good and going. But your running back, he is, in my opinion, he is a speedster. I think he's a great running back. I think he hits the edge good. I think if we don't continue him, we're going to be in trouble. But I got a feeling that Mr. Josh Fusco is going to he's going to introduce him very well when he hits him in the outside and puts him in the wall. I'm saying that because I'm not saying that to be cocky, but I think that their speedy running back and our guy that I think hits better than Bo, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I think their defense was speedy at all levels. I think they rally good at the ball. I think they're physical. I don't think they take any crap. The team that they were playing, yeah, when you say semi-pro, that's kind of what I'm talking about. So the fans in Muskegon get kind of what's the word I'm looking for? They get kind of they get upset when we're blowing out teams. And they want to see a good competitive game. So like I saw a lot of the comments from the Cedar Rapids fans and how great the team is, and they are. And I haven't seen anybody like complain about, hey, this is a semi-pro team, they blow them out. Where Muskegon fans are, okay, it's another blowout. Who cares? Let's get a good team in here. So I like the fact that the two teams are similar, and we've been promoting this game a lot of, hey, this is what the fans are gonna get to put their money where their mouth is, and then and we're gonna be able to give them a good show.
Well, what is the price of a ticket up there?
So we got different sections, but I think our most expensive ticket is $30, and what that is you get $30 and you get to go in what's called the Iron Core section. I think it's 35. Let's just call it 35. So $35 gets you in the Iron Core section, and you get all the food you want. You get a great seat, and you get discounted drinks. Okay, so there's one, and we go all the way down. If you're a veteran, you're going to pay $8. So the average, normal seat, it's like $15 or $17.
There's a lot of respect for veterans in this league. I'm a veteran, and I certainly appreciate the, just
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Yeah, well,
Appreciate that.
Well, thank you for being somebody worth sacrificing for or worth protecting. And a lot of veterans they have a hard time answering. When someone says that to them, they just don't know what to say back. But it's the truth. It's a great country, and we have a great way of life, and a lot of people don't seem to appreciate it like they ought to. But there's never been a country this is the best country on this side of heaven that I've ever heard of or studied about. And I'm so proud to be an American. And one of the great things about America is football. And one of the things I didn't anticipate was how much interest there was in the Cedar Rapids Titans, maybe, or in arena football, or how many people. And we were getting over 100 comments by halftime, and not everybody's kind. And I don't really get that, I mean, if I wasn't enjoying something, I'd just change the channel or my dad, I never heard him complain once in his life, and we were just not raised to complain, and I'll have to get a little thicker skin about it, I think, later on. But for every negative comment, there was 10 good ones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I saw those, and that's what I mean. Maybe spoiled is the word I'm looking for our fans here, because one thing about winning, when we lost to the Avengers, I thought, here we go. I'm going to hear shit from our fans, and they're going to give it to me. And it was quite the opposite. They weren't happy that we lost, but they were happy that they got a good competitive game. And when we played the Falcons our first game, because I kept my word. The Ohio team from the AAL2, which I hear now is a direct competitor of us. I love that, because what happened was we were supposed to play the Ohio Legends, and they backed out. Again, you're not dealing, I don't think, apples to apples. The AAL2 is a development league. They can call that all they want. And now that we're a direct competitor with them, now I can talk like I'm supposed to. Like that they call it a developmental league. It's no different than semi-pro, period. I don't care what they say. Well, they were supposed to play us, and they backed out of playing us, which caused a whole shitstorm in my organization. So I had to tell the team from New York, look, I can't play it because I got to keep my word with the Falcons, who is a semi-pro team. And I thought it was going to be a more competitive game, but I kept my word. We played that game. We blew them out. Our fans were upset because we blew them out. You guys played the Michigan Raptors that day. okay, that's an exhibition game where you guys blew them out. You guys could have scored more on them. But teams like that, they need to play each other. Teams like us, Cedar Rapids, Muskies, who unfortunately is not in our league, Wyoming, who there's going to be an addition soon. The New York team is going to join our league. We need to be playing teams like that, and that has a budget, sustainable, and we do it by the book. That'll sustain our league. That'll sustain the competition, and the teams like how you guys played and we played. That shouldn't be the common thing anymore. We need to play either equal our competition or better.
Well,
As moving forward, that's what we're going to do.
I think after the last couple of years, the Cedar Rapids fans might have been a little demoralized, because it just, we like to win, and we weren't winning. And I think that game might have been necessary for us to get for the team to get out there and get a big win and a big rally and build some momentum and some excitement. But I'm thinking
For me, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited for your owner. I'm excited for your fans. Like we're pushing as much content for them as well as I know they do for us. And that is the camaraderie. That is the deal. I mean, we're going to have the owners, the previous owner from the AIF at the game. Our commissioner is going to be at the game. Like, again, that one happened last year. Like, they're coming here, and we're going to put on a good show. And I hope we have a good attendance for that game.
Well, I'm thinking whether you're paying $8 or $30, you're probably getting $60 worth of value, particularly for this matchup. And I think this is a highly anticipated match. Well, we talked a little bit about our team. I don't know a whole lot about your team. Can you tell us a little bit about, maybe who your players are, what kind of team they are, and maybe some of the guys with some good experience that's on the team?
Well, so Alex Carter, I mean, we have veterans on this team. Alex Carter as our quarterback. He was the quarterback when we first started. So he's been doing this 11 now years, 12, and he is awesome. He's awesome off the field, on the field. He can you can tell when other quarterbacks or our backup quarterback is in there and they don't see what he sees, and he's just a great guy, and he's a great team guy. He gets after the other guys a little bit, but he sets the standard for our team. Mr. Armstrong in the middle, he's a D tackle. He is a stud. When you look at his arms, holy Christ, he is a mountain of a man, and he's going to cause some havoc for your center. I can tell you that. He's been around. We're just all around. There's been veterans on this team that, I've already mentioned Josh Fusco. He's developed me one of my favorite players. I didn't think I'd have one after Bo, but he's caught my attention with some of the hits. He's been laying the wood down pretty good, and I can go on and on about, the Mr. Taylor, our running back. He's been with us a long time. Unger, he's on the front line. He's been with us a long time. So, like, people that have been with us a long time, I value very much because they're setting the standard. Derek Vandenbosch, heart and soul of this team. He's retired now. Nick Cracker, he's another one that was a leader. He was with us a long time. He's retired. Dakota Smith, shit, there was no better running back than him in the league. And so, like, we've had guys. I told Nate, I said, we're going to have some kind of Hall of Fame soon because, I thought I was going to be done. I was going to sell the team to a person last year that ended up just being a fugazi. So it never happened. It never was going to happen. So my sons are actually looking to take over the team. And I think we're going to keep here as long as the city of Muskegon will allow us to. And they're great with us. The arena's great with us. So our team is just good. And they are not the Ironmen. And I'm saying this out of pure love for our guys. They're not the Ironmen of old. But I feel like it's going to even get way better because the level of competition is going to get better, and we're going to have to go recruit around the country. We're going to have to do some housing now. I mean, this whole Cedar Rapids game is a huge, Dave. It's a huge game for not only them, but for us, but more importantly, this league. And if we can give people a good show, these other people that are the haters out there, it doesn't matter what they say anyway, but they got to at least recognize the AIF is here to stay.
Well, you had one job, and that was to get our listeners and me excited for this game, and you have succeeded beyond measure. I am pumped up. My heart's a beating. My hair's standing on edge here. I am ready I just can't wait. It seems like I guess it's a couple weeks since we played I like the, once a week games if I can get it going, because once you get bit by that bug, it's the only, cure is another game, and I think I'm chomping at the bit to get this game going. I can't wait for the game to go on once again. You guys have a great broadcast team. Well, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your broadcast team and how you put that together and how important they are.
So it starts before the ones that we had now. Like right now, we have Billy D. Man. He is the heart and soul of our broadcasting team. He's in charge of making sure our streams looking good. Actually, I mean, a lot of people have asked us, hey, you know, can we kind of do what you're doing or follow what some tips of what needs to happen? But before that, there's a guy his name was Trevor, the dude, and he'll be there this week. He's going to do the play by play. He is when I first met him, I thought, you know, there's these guys that just know everything about sports, and this guy, no matter what the sport is, he's got stats. He's got. We were at our practice last night, and we signed to this guy named Future. And I go, hey, this guy used to play for the Smoke, and they almost beat us. What do you know about number 4, the Future? Oh my God, he went on for 5 minutes of how he almost beat us single handedly. He remembers that game. He was all excited about him that we signed him, and I was like, what the hell? How does the dude know that? But he'll be in attendance, and it's just Nate Smith. I credit him 100% of finding the right guys, utilizing their talent, and getting 100% out of each one of them, right down to our equipment manager and our coaching staff. He sets the standard, he sets the tone.
All right. Well, we got a game. It's going to be. It's Saturday night, right?
Saturday night, kickoff is at 7. If you can't make the game, make sure you're on the stream, because I tell you, it's going to be a dandy. I told our players, do not take this game lightly. I know they're not going to. I know Cedar Rapids is going to come to, the big thing with them is, a lot of no talking, no nonsense, and they're going to take down the champs. And I tell you what, I think they have a great shot, and I'm looking forward to defending our title the rest of the year. And, who knows? Who knows?
Well, I'm just looking forward to a good competitive game. If we can get that, I've had to adjust my expectations because I don't get my heart broke so much. I watch, if I got 2 high school teams playing each other, and I love both coaches and the players, after been calling their games for 4 years, you don't feel like their dad, but you might feel like their uncle.
Damn right.
So I just all I just want is everybody to play their best, and I want to see their best, and I think this game's going to be our best. I think game is going to market this league. I think there's going to be if there's if there's as much interest on both ends of this deal as there was on the Cedar Rapids end of the last deal, biggest audience I ever had in my life, and hopefully everybody will be real happy, and I'll be supporting you and doing everything I can to get this broadcast out there and available to people. And you'll be coming to Cedar Rapids before the end of this year. I think the last game's with you guys are
Yes.
coming.
So that builds up the hype even more. Like, they're going off of playoffs already. We're trying to get with my arena, trying to get with Cedars. Okay, because it looks like the path to the playoffs and the championships either going to be through our place or your place. And we were on our owners meeting, and it just, even little things like this get me going and fired up. Like, our GM, our commissioner say, hey, Rick, how you guys going to get here? Have you guys got your vans? Are you taking cars? What are you doing? He said, nope, we got a coach. And like, okay, there's another team. And that's not to be boastful or bragging, but there's a standard. They're coming in a travel bus. We're going there in a travel bus. And, we're going to make it. We know that they're going to show. They're going to know that we're going to show. I have no reservations thinking they won't come, and they won't have any of ours. And that's what makes it. That it's something that small you wouldn't think would fire you up, but that fires me up because we're playing a team that's got class. They got standards. And I'm looking forward to hell. When I saw your game, I go, Nate, I got to get a suit. Mike's out there in a suit and he looks good, and I'm over in a fleece. He looks better than me. I can't have that.
Yeah, well, I wear a suit too, but then I need a lot of help to handsome me up.
Me too. That's what I need.
I'm not handsome on my own or just in a t-shirt and jeans. I've got to have a new haircut and shave and the whole deal. But well, I can't wait for this game. I'm real excited about it, and wishing you the all the luck that you always have, and maybe a little less this week.
I appreciate that.
But I could tell right away that that was the team that set the standard for this league, and we've had you on some of the comments. I kind of got to know you a little bit about that way, and I felt like you've been a big supporter of what we were trying to do, and you were kind to go through my learning process on how to get this all done. But I think we're there, and I think maybe we'll get a little better angle than we did last time, and hopefully the viewership and everything is as good as it is. And thanks so much for taking some time with us, coaches. Anything, and I call everybody coach. I even call my priest coach on Sunday sometime. But is there anything we didn't get to talk about that you wanted to talk about?
I would like to thank my family. I know that this takes a lot of time, and people say, Mario, with the mortgage business, you're busy. With the pizzeria, you're busy. I like to thank my family, my wife Stacy Flores, and all my 5 boys and my grandchildren for allowing me to put this on, keep it going. Again, I believe it's a big networking, it's a big party to get people out of the house, but I also love football. I've been a coach for football for Fruitport High School for the last 23 years. I'm stepping away from that a little bit, or actually a lot this year. And I live in Fruitport, Michigan. I'm very proud of where I live and where we come from. I'm kind of an adopted son there. I had 2 pizzerias in that neck of the woods. I used to have Antonio's Pizzeria back in the day in the 90s, and then I thought I was done. And I've helped David and Nick Cadena, and now we have that pizzeria. And I'm just really proud of our community that I belong to and that I give back. And they have given so much back to me in the mortgage business and the pizza business and then the West Michigan Ironmen. So I just want to say how proud I am of Fruitport, Michigan and Muskegon, Michigan, and the West Michigan Ironmen.
Well, I will be glad to partake in some pizza anytime from you. But there was 2 days that I was happy about having a mortgage. That was the day I got it and the day I paid it off.
I got it done. You're very fortunate. And Nate Smith, as general manager, him and I had come to head this year of, what either we're going to be done with the West Michigan Ironmen and it's still its course, or we were going to do this thing and we're going to do it all year long. And he has been a huge part of the organization since day one. He's taken a lot of shots, a lot of hits, a lot of negative rap, and he doesn't get his due of being an awesome partner, an awesome GM, and just a pillar of what we're doing. And I couldn't do it without him. And my staff around me, my Van Dyke Mortgage staff helps me with the Ironman. Angie Ross does our payroll checks. So she signs all the checks for me because I'm too busy. So I just want to do some shout outs there before I left. And I really appreciate Larry and the owner and Terry, their commissioner, and Nate and I are part of the executive committee now. So it's just great. It's been awesome, and things are coming together.
Well, I hope we can get back to the Iowa, Michigan days of Hayden Fry and Bo Schembechler. That's why I'm looking at this thing. This is a kind of a new era here. Hopefully, we'll go up there and give your fans a little something to enjoy. And I'll be watching. And thank you for taking some time to be with us. And I'm really excited. I mean, I was a truck driver for a lot of years, but my dream was always to be the voice of a professional team, and this is my real chance to do that. So I'm living a dream, just like these kids that are trying to make it to the NFL or anywhere. I'm a little bit in the promised land myself. So good luck Saturday, and thanks for being with us.
Okay, thank you. You have a wonderful day. Thanks for inviting me.